Good evening. This is VK2WI. Tonight's news broadcast from Amateur Radio New South Wales originates from the VK2WI facilities at Dural, Sydney, which is staffed by the volunteers of our broadcast team. Transmissions this evening are being made on frequencies between 160 metres and 23 centimetres. The announcer will advise on the transmitter status. In addition, automated relays will carry the broadcast through some regional VHF and UHF repeaters, and we thank the custodians of these systems for making the service available. Now, here are your announcer and engineer with this evening's news.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. A bit of a change to the roster. We're going to have Eric, VK2EJH, as the announcer, but tonight you've got Stuart, VK2BMX, and Peter, VK2BEU, as engineer, is being replaced by John, VK2JV. The weather here tonight is fine and cool with a clear sky. The outside temperatures are around about 11 degrees Celsius, and I just had a look down. It's dropped down to 9, so it's cooling off. Rainfall at VK2WI site over the last week was 33 millimetres. Our transmitter status is all okay. Unfortunately, we've got some silent keys to be announced tonight. It is with regret that we begin this week with the news of two silent keys. The St George Amateur Radio Society have advised of the passing of Alex Theakston of VK2 Delta Tango X-Ray on Monday the 18th of June in the St Joseph's Hospital at Auburn after a relatively short battle with cancer. Alex was 81 years old and until 9 or 10 months ago was fitter than most teenagers. Alex was a regular participant on 80 metres, keeping a regular Sunday morning sked with Jackie, a VK2CJK, Don, a VK2KDR, silent key, Donna and Anthony, a VK2HM. Alex's family have requested a private family farewell service. We have also been advised by the Hunter Radio Group of the passing of former life member William, known as Bill Hall, VK2 X-Ray Tango. Bill passed away on the 20th of June, aged 105 years, and had been a member of the group since the 1930s. A private funeral was held. Bill was a life member of ARNSW and the WIA. Please pause with us while we remember Alex and Bill. Vale, Alex Theakston of VK2 Delta Tango X-Ray and Bill Hall of VK2 X-Ray Tango. Our thanks to Anthony VK2 Hotel Mike and Rodney VK2 Charlie November for advising us here at VK2WI News.
This is a news broadcast from VK2WI. March 2010 marked 100 years of the WIA, the world's oldest amateur radio society. It was started in 1910 as a result of a meeting held in Sydney by a group of experimenters seeking a better deal. This is VK2WI. We now continue with this evening's news.
In the news from Amateur Radio New South Wales for this week, the next Foundation course and assessment weekend at VK2WI is next month on the 14th and 15th of July. Inquiries are best made by email to education@arnsw.org.au. The next event at VK2WI Dural will be the Trash and Treasure and Radio Experimenters Group meeting on Sunday the 29th of July. ARNSW Antenna Day Review. As previously mentioned on VK2WI News last Sunday the 17th, was ARNSW's Antenna Day here at VK2WI Dural. We had enlisted speakers covering various aspects of antennas and componentry. First, Mal, VK2 Yankee Victor Alpha, spoke on feed lines. Then Paul, the VK2 Alpha Papa Alpha, covered dipoles. Rob, a VK2 Delta Romeo Bravo, gave a presentation on the screwdriver antenna, and Ken, the VK2 Bravo Bravo Quebec, handed around his GR G5RV and explained the workings. After lunch, John VK2 Zulu Oscar India expanded on his flower pot antenna. Then to complete the day, Mark VK2 X-ray Oscar Foxtrot gave a detailed presentation on valence and antenna analysis. We completed the day with a raffle, the first prize being an antenna analyzer. It was an educational day and it appeared to be enjoyed by all who attended. 73 from Al, the VK2OK. US license exams in Sydney. If you are interested in obtaining a US amateur license, the Sydney-based ARRL volunteer examiner team are conducting an assessment session next Sunday, the 1st of July, at 16 Mile Street in Bankstown Airport, starting at 8 a.m. The examinations will use the new technician question pool. Candidates for higher level licenses need to do all papers up to the level they desire, but all papers are included in the single affordable session fee. More information along with forms for questions and bookings can be found on the new website veexams.com, and it's spelt VEEXAMS.com. Submitted by Julian, VK2YJS. Weekly solar and geophysical report for the period of the 15th to the 21st of June. First, the summary. Dates across the columns are 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th and 21st. 10 centimetre flux. 71, 71, 71, 74, 77, 82 and 82. Fredericksburg Index AFR 6, 4, 7, 20, 6, 7 and 4 estimated. Australian Index, the AAUS 1, 0, 2, 11, 4, 2 and 0 estimated. The T Index 3, 0, 1, 15, 12, 5 and 9. Solar flare activity was very low from the 15th to the 20th and low on the 21st. Geomagnetic activity in the Australian region was at quiet except for the 18th, which ranged from quiet to active levels. F2 critical frequencies in the southern Australian region remained near predicted monthly values during local daylight at times all week. However, some enhancements were observed at local night. Nighttime frequencies were enhanced by 20% on the 15th, 15% on the 16th and 17th, 55% on the 18th, I think it's probably 50% on the 19th and 20% on the 21st. Now the forecast for the 22nd to the 28th of June. Solar activity is expected to be very low to low, with a slight chance of M-class flares in the coming week with some new solar region development. Geomagnetic activity is expected to mostly be quiet to unsettled, with possible active periods from the 24th to the 25th due to coronal hole effects. Active conditions with possible minor storm periods expected on the 27th and 28th. Maximum usable frequencies may be briefly depressed after local dawn on the 28th, but should remain near predicted monthly values otherwise. Data courtesy of Space Weather Services. Solar flux update. Here are the updated solar flux index, the SFI figures for this week. Having finished May, the figures were minimum 67, average 71, maximum 77, with peak dates between the 24th and the 31st. Midway through June, the prediction so far is minimum 67, average 74, maximum 82, with peak dates between the 1st to the 2nd and the 20th to the 30th. And looking ahead to the prediction for July, minimum 68, average 71, maximum 74, with peak dates between the 9th and 21st. Update with thanks to Noel, the the VK2FUL.
News broadcast from VK2WI. To submit news for inclusion in these sessions, please email it to news@arnsw.org.au by the end of business on Friday. You can help us with presentation by writing your news item in the third person and limiting it to about one A4 page in an easily read font. This is VK2WI. We now continue with this evening's news.
And now we're up to the ARRLDX news. Firstly, Senegal 6W Dominic ON4AZP will be active as 6W/ON4AZP from June 25th to July 5th. Activity will be on 40, 20, 15 and 10 metres using single sideband. Maldives 8Q Daniel SM0UDH will be active as 8Q7DT until July 9. Activity will be holiday style on the HF bands using single sideband JT9, JT65 and FT8. Taiwan Bodo DF8DX will be active as BW/DF8DX until June 30. Activity will be on the HF bands using mostly CW. Bolivia CP Tony EA5RM is active as CP1XRM until July 10 while working with Solidar Medicar and Radio Amateurs Without Frontiers NGO. Activity is in his spare time on 60 to 10 metres using single sideband and various digital modes. France Frank F4DTO and Patrick F4GFE are active as TM220BP until December 15 to commemorate Napoleon's Battle of the Pyramids. Activity is on various dates and times on the HF bands. Solomon Islands H4 Haru JA1XGI is active as H44XG from Guadalcanal IOTA OC-047 until June 27. Activity is on 40, 30, 20, 15 and 10 metres using CW and FT8. In addition, Bernard DL2GAC is active as H44MS until July 12. Baker and Howland Islands KH1. A large group of operators will be active as KH1/KH7Z from Baker Island, IOTA OC-089 from June 27 to July 6. Activity will be on 160 to 6 metres using CW, SSB, RTTY and FT8 in D-expedition mode. Netherlands, Marcel PD5MVH will be active with special call sign PD18VOR until July 1 for the Volvo Ocean Race, thus the VOR. Palau T8 Tatsuko JJ1BDT is active as T88YL from Koror, IOTA OC-009 until June 27. Activity is holiday style on 40, 17 and 15 metres using single sideband. St Kitts and Nevis V4 John W5JON is active as V47JA from Calypso Bay, IOTA-NA-104 until July 20. Activity is on 160 to 6 metres using single sideband. This includes an entry in the upcoming IARU HF Championships. Australia. Special call VI70MI is active from mainland Australia, IOTA OC-001 until August 31 to draw attention to 70 years of the Australian National Antarctic Research Expedition's activities on Macquarie Island. Activity is on 160 to 10 metres using CW, single sideband, RTTY and other digital modes. This weekend on the radio, ARRL Field Day, His Majesty King of Spain single sideband contest, NCCC RTTY sprint, NCCC CW sprint, UFT QRP contest and the Ukrainian DX Digi contest are all scheduled for this weekend. CW Ops Mini CWT, CW Test, Phone Fray and SKCC CW sprint are scheduled for June 27. The ARRL International Grid Chase continues throughout 2018. And now we come up to the Wyson news. The 30th annual NavShield Bush Navigation Contest was on this weekend and concluded today. The contest was in Yengo National Park between Buckety and Putty. A Wyson forward command vehicle was deployed to the site. At last weekend's Glowworm Tunnel event, Wyson provided assistance in response to a female competitor suffering a serious injuries due to a tree branch falling in high winds. This included providing a communications link between the on-site medical crew and the New South Wales ambulance. The person was evacuated by helicopter to a major hospital and is recovering well. The VHMDX Barrington Sarich, or search and rescue exercise, is on September the 14th to the 16th. The Wyson website at nsw.wyson.org.au includes membership information, a web contact form, as well as other contact details and useful links. Logging in gives members access to further coming events and various manuals. Facebook users will find a new official Wyson New South Wales page and an informal national Wyson group. Wyson Northern Rivers holds a weekly net on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. local time on the Lismore repeater VK2RSC on 146.8 MHz, requiring a 123 Hz tone, and listen out for VK2WIR. The Wyson Mid-North Coast region meets at 3:30 p.m. on the first Saturday of the month at SES headquarters, Central Road, Port Macquarie. The region is also running an HF net on Thursday evenings from 7 p.m. on the band plan's 80 metre Wyson frequency of 3.6 MHz. Wyson ACT is part of the Canberra Region Amateur Radio Club, supporting events in the ACT and Capital Country. Saturday, July 21 is the BMSC Narooma Rally, and the Bateman's Bay Rally is on August 11. See the Wyson and events pages on www.crarc.ampr.org. Wyson Victoria has a net on 3.6 MHz each Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. local time. For details on future events, visit the website at vic.wyson.org.au. Submitted by Julian of VK2YJS.
This is a news broadcast from VK2WI. For voice contact with Amateur Radio New South Wales, telephone 02 9651 1490, which will take you to our message bank. For written contact, write to PO Box 6044, Dural Delivery Centre, New South Wales 2158, or email office@arnsw.org.au. This is VK2WI. We now continue with this evening's news.
And now we're up to the club news. We start this week with news from Oxley Region Amateur Radio Club. The next meeting of the club will be the July monthly meeting at 2 p.m. on Saturday the 7th of July in the SES building in Port Macquarie. Candidates for the Foundation, Standard and Advanced licences should contact the club via PO Box 712 Port Macquarie, New South Wales 2444 as soon as possible. The next training courses and assessments for the Advanced, Standard and Foundation licences will be run when sufficient candidates have registered. The club conducts 2 nets each week. The midweek net starts at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday nights and the weekend net takes place from 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Both nets are on the VK2RMP 2-metre repeater on 146.7 MHz. This repeater requires a 91.5 Hz sub-audible tone for access. Visitors are always made very welcome at the club's monthly general meetings at 2 p.m. on the first Saturday of each month, and at the Friday night gathering at 7 p.m. on the evening of the third Friday of each month. The venue for all these meetings is the SES building in Port Macquarie. For more information about the club, visit the website at orarc.org. The site contains a wealth of amateur radio items in addition to club information. The May 2018 web edition of the club's bi-monthly newsletter, Oxtails, along with past issues, can be viewed on the website. Submitted by Henry VK2ZHE for the Oxley Region Amateur Radio Club. Hunter Radio Group. The next meeting of the group will be on Friday the 13th of July in the Belmore Function Room at Adamstown Bowling Club, 504 Glebe Road, Adamstown, Newcastle. The meeting starts at 7:30 p.m. After general business, the lecture for the evening will be presented by Rob, VK2ZWZ, on portable HF antennas. There is parking available at the side of the bowling club. The Hunter Radio Group conducts a broadcast every Monday evening starting at 7:30 p.m. on the group repeaters on 146.9 MHz in the 2-metre band and 438.025 MHz in the 70 centimetre band. Callbacks are taken after the broadcast. Advised by Rodney, VK2CN, Secretary for the Hunter Radio Group. St George Amateur Radio Society. The next gathering is on Wednesday evening, the 4th of July. Instead of a normal presentation with one person standing up the front, lots of people will stand up and present a show and tell. This is your opportunity to give a presentation on a project on which they have been working. Explain your reason for selecting the project, share your design details and ideas for construction techniques you use to bring your project to life. Bring along your project or just talk about it, your experience. A digital projector will be available should you wish to use a PowerPoint style presentation aid. After the gathering, there will be the usual refreshments. All members, local amateurs and other interested people are invited to attend. The meeting rooms are at Donnelly Park, Kyle Parade, Connells Point, near South Hurstville. The gathering starts at 7:30 p.m. The What 3 Words address for the club is Torch, Bath, Frosted. Advised by Peter, VK2EMU, for the St George Amateur Radio Society. Hornsby and District Amateur Radio Club. The next Haddock meeting is on Tuesday the 26th of June. This will be at the monthly general meeting. I'll say that again. This will be the monthly general meeting, and it's at the Mount Colah Community Centre in Pierre Close, Mount Colah, on the eastern side of the railway station. On Saturday the 22nd of September, there will be centenary celebrations of the first message from Billy Hughes sent via Ernest Fisk. At 1 p.m. at the monument, the Ku-ring-gai male choir will sing the Welsh and Australian anthems, and at 1:15 p.m. the original Morse code message will be heard by all present, with a radio operator deciphering the message, which will be read to gathering, including the Fisk family members, politicians, councillors, residents, and wireless enthusiasts and historians. The assembly will then move to St Andrew's Church Hall across Cleveland Street, where further celebrations will take place. There will be many displays including old and new wireless equipment, with radio stations operated by the Hornsby and District Amateur Radio Club, using the special call sign VK100 Marconi. Also available will be official stamps to commemorate the day, as well as refreshments. The displays will be open from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the church hall, and all are welcome. The club runs 3 nets each week, Monday nights from 8 p.m. on the VK2RNS 2-metre repeater. It's on 147.25 MHz. No tone is required, but a 91.5 Hz tone is sent. The Wednesday evening net is on 3608.5 kHz, also from 8 p.m. Morning tea with Haddock is on or near 7106 kHz from 9 a.m. on Fridays. Haddock's website is at www.haddock.org.au. The club has a group on Facebook which can be found by searching for VK2MA, on Twitter at VK2MA. Submitted by Julian, a VK2YJS, Haddock Publicity Officer.
This is VK2WI nearing the end of tonight's news bulletin. The text version of this bulletin will be available from Monday on the Amateur Radio New South Wales website. Also on this site you can find details of our services, membership and general information about amateur radio. The address is www.arnsw.org.au. This is VK2WI. We now continue with this evening's news.
Summary of coming events. June, the Haddock Monthly General Meeting on the 26th. July, US Amateur Licence Exams at Bankstown Airport on the 1st. St George ARS Gathering on the 4th. MWRS Training and Licensing Day on the 7th. ORARC Monthly General Meeting on the 7th. Hunter Radio Group meeting on the 13th. Waverley ARS Auction on the 14th. ARNSW Foundation Course and Assessment Weekend on the 14th and 15th. Trans-Tasman Low Band Contest on the 21st. Canberra Region ARC Foundation Course and Exams at Red Hill on the 21st and 22nd. ARNSW Trash and Treasure and Experimenters Group meeting on the 29th. August, St George ARS Gathering on the 1st. Remembrance Day Contest on the 11th and 12th. International Lighthouse and Lightship Weekend on the 18th and 19th, and the Fisher's Ghost ARC meeting on the 29th. Submitting news items. To submit items for inclusion in our news bulletins, please email to news@arnsw.org.au by the Friday night preceding the broadcast. Audio items can be accepted, but please email in advance to make arrangements. Broadcast roster. The broadcast roster is currently being prepared for the next quarter. If you are interested in joining the team, and it's good fun, and you can get on radio, we are always looking for people interested in announcing, engineering, editing or audio production. Just let us know by email to news@arnsw.org.au. And that concludes our news for tonight. Your announcer has been Stuart, the VK2BMX, and your engineer has been John of VK2JV. Callbacks will be taken shortly. Please call back to the relay station that provided the broadcast to you. On the Mount Bindo repeater, the VK2RDX, callbacks will be taken shortly and the numbers relayed to VK2WI. Here at VK2WI, we will listen for callbacks for those who took the broadcast directly. From the announcer's booth, I will start with 20 metres, followed by 80, 40 and lastly 30 metres. In engineering, John will take callbacks on 160 metres, 10 metres, 6 metres and the VHF and UHF frequencies. He will advise the order. All the best from the broadcast team here at VK2WI. Have a great week and thank you for listening.